and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. And today's the first day of summer. It is the longest day of the year. So enjoy every single ray of sunshine today. It's the longest day of the year. Well, I have done not one, but two Facebook Lives diving into detail as it relates to the Hunter Biden plea. And I would like every single one of you to check those out. Some things that I would like to add just based upon some comments that I'm seeing is it is not double jeopardy on any other future criminal charges that it relates to. This plea is outrageous. I do want to comment, and I do this a lot because I think it's productive, because you need to give perspective and context to these things. These things just don't happen. As I said yesterday, I can't imagine the outside influence. David Weiss is the prosecutor from Delaware that was handling this. And just so you know, people keep saying, well, he was a Trump appointee. I'm the only person in America who is pointing out to you that when Trump's appointed prosecutors, U.S. attorneys, and judges across the country, these were people who were brought to him by United States senators from those states, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, et cetera, et cetera. These weren't Trump people. Trump might have appointed them, but he didn't know them. He has no idea who they are. You ready for this? The guy who first appointed David Weiss was Barack Obama. He was a Barack Obama appointee. Trump just kept him on. That's all it was. He might have been a Republican. He was a Republican who was appointed by Barack Obama. What does that tell you? You think this guy is a Trumper? Hell no, he's not. And to be candid with you, he was pretty lightweight. His background, I'm not going to dive into it all, but his background was pretty light. So this was an Obama prosecutor, folks, not a Trump prosecutor. And now he works for Joe Biden. Folks, the president of the United States has the right to fire and replace every United States attorney in the country when he becomes president. Joe Biden kept old Weiss around. Why? He's in. All right, the sub missing. Lots have come up. There's been recent sounds apparently every 30 seconds from somewhere, or 30 minutes. They're hoping it's coming from the sub. We've got all this equipment getting close to the scene. But the problem is nobody knows how they would raise this. You can't do a sub-to-sub exchange. In other words, you can't take them out of the sub and put them in a new sub. That's not going to happen. I found out, and you might have too, that the nuclear subs can't even stay down these depths. These depths are depths that regular submarines do not go to. So you're going to have does somebody have a 2.5 mile winch chain? No. If they're stuck on something, I guess that's probably the luckiest thing that they could find. My guess is they could have something bump it. I don't know what that would be, but somebody bump it. Some more crazy things about this. The Ocean Gate CEO who was on this, Stockton Rush, was sued by a family for fraud when he didn't return their money and whatnot. You got this other guy, Chris Brown, who is friends with Hamish Harding, who's on board, who backed out when he was concerned about the safety. You have this recently popping up video. CBS did a story about the sub, and it's scary as hell. By the way, the operating system on this is a PlayStation. It's a PlayStation operating system. And all kinds of jerry-rigged stuff on this thing. The other thing that was interesting is this Navy commander explained what happens when you're down in the depths of that water. Think about how the water pressure is when you go to the bottom of your swimming pool at 8 to 10 feet. This is 12 1,000 feet. Can you imagine the pressure on that submarine? The water pressure? Not to mention the currents and everything else. Heck, underwater currents might have taken that thing far away. It's not just going to sit under where it is unless it's stuck. But the water in this is going to get to 41 degrees Fahrenheit. That cold. These folks are in trouble. It'll be a miracle if they survive. Robert Downey Jr. announced that the 1 year in prison that he had to serve was the longest or most awful thing that ever happened to him. Folks, I want to tell you something. I served 8 days in Hamilton County Justice Center for that contempt. It was the longest 8 days of my life. I can't imagine what a year's like. I can't imagine. Kodak Black, this guy had the same issue, the same charge as Hunter Biden, had to serve 3 years. Now, he did have some priors, but had to serve 3 years. His lawyer's saying, wait a minute, what happened to Kodak Black? You see? Congress versus the Bidens. Folks, this is battle royale. Right now, there's a hearing going on. Durham's going to testify to Jim Jordan's committee. But this is the battle royale. It's Congress versus the Bidens. All our hopes are in with that House. Mission Impossible 7 is going to come out, and they say it's crazy good. Tom Cruise saves us again. First Maverick, and now this. Trump and Melania. Donald Trump told Brett Baer that Melania is 100% with him. I am going to defend Trump and Melania and DeSantis and Casey. They're getting attacked for different reasons. And it cracks me up because if you're a politician's wife, each wife does it different. Some are very active, some aren't very active. And I just think, for anybody to attack these spouses is ridiculous. Shut up, Bill Barr. I'm sick and tired of Bill Barr. Bill Barr is a Bushy. Trump appointed him, I'm sure at the behest of McConnell and the rest of the Bushites, and he acts like what he says is the calm, cool kid. This guy had the 1023 and didn't do. You get a 1023 that involves treason of the President of the United States and his family, and you just ship it off to a Delaware guy instead of saying, I want this personally. Failure of leadership. Bill Barr, shut up already. Joe Biden called G a dictator. Well, he is a dictator, but you're supposed to send somebody over there to calm things, and then you insult him. Good job, Joe. LA McDonald's, did you see this video? And the screaming going on? In broad daylight, some young blacks just went in to an LA McDonald's, ransacked it, stole the cashier, took everything. It's nuts. And by the way, remember what I told you? The juvenile laws? These gangs have recruited juveniles because they know the juveniles, they're not going to happen to them. So we're going to have more career criminals than ever because of juvenile recruitment in these gangs. Remember I said yesterday about the $600 million in climate money just goes poof, poof, like our bridge, this $2 billion bridge, poof. Where does the money actually go? Who actually gets the money? Ready for this? Pentagon does a $6.2 billion accounting error for the Pentagon. So Ukraine's going to get $6.2 billion more dollars than they were even supposed to get. Too bad. Too bad. You believe it? All right, today's Constitution Day, the day in history. We passed our Constitution. It's right there. God bless America. Coming up next, Eric Deters in local news. Ladies and gentlemen, American Jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to Eric Deters Local News. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. Well, our lead story is the update on the Claremont killer. He executed these 3 boys. Unbelievable. Apparently, it's also words are coming out that he was very abusive in his words, at least, and just sickening. Executed these 3 boys. Sick. Long crime. Parents beware of phony state workers. Now, this is interesting. This lady they arrested yesterday, her name is Nakreli. She's claiming that she posed as a state worker solely because she wanted to send a lesson to the parent because the child wasn't being appropriately watched. Now, I want to tell you something. If that is true, boy, did that backfire on her, did it not? Yes, it did. If it's not true, and she truly was trying to lure that child away using the disguise that she is a state worker, that's scary as hell. So parents beware. Drown your baby? How you like this story? A mother, Forest Park mother, is accused of trying to drown her 7-month-old in the bathtub. Ty'Asia Johnson, charged with attempted murder. 7-month baby. Messed up. Cutting grass can be dangerous. How about this story? This is in Indiana. Somebody's out cutting their grass. All right? He grabbed the woman as she cut her grass, forced her in the garage to attempt to rape her while cutting grass. Be careful out there. In local news, Duke Energy is donating $40,000 to Gateway. Good for them. What for? To get linemen trained. Folks, a lineman makes a lot of money. It's a good job. You got a high school degree and not going to college, you ought to become a lineman. Highland Heights is the next Northern Kentucky city that is banning smoking from their city. Can't smoke there, folks. No more smoking in Highland Heights. Good or bad, I don't know. Grandma lifeguard. This is a great story. Gail Rogers, 66, lives in Montgomery Town condominium that has a private pool. She learned that there was a need for a lifeguard, so she's going to do it. That's stepping up, the greatest generation. Cincy water bill. If you use your credit card, it's going to cost you more. What do you think about that? Montgomery Inn has been voted one of the top 5 barbecue sauces. I think it should be number 1. Montgomery Inn barbecue sauce. It's in our refrigerator. It's my favorite sauce. I like sweet. It's sweet. Now, I'm going to spend a little more time on this story. Cincinnati Children's. They dipped down to number 4 and then went back to number 3. And now they're in the number 1 Cincinnati Children's Hospital in the country. I want to tell you a little bit about this, folks. You know how they do this? There's this organization. It's U.S. News and World Report, but they use a company called RTI. And it is a political process. Try finding RTI. If you open up your U.S. News and World Report and you try to find who do you contact relative to, you can't find them. We did a deep dive and finally found the headquarters during the Durrani litigation of the RTI headquarters in North Carolina. I can tell you one thing, they weren't voted in the top 10 in orthopedics, not because of great doctors like Dr. Melman, but I'm telling you right now, Cincinnati Children's Hospital is corporate health care at its best. Now, I want to stress this to you. Are we lucky we have Cincinnati Children's? Well, hell yes. Doctors, nurses, for the most part, 99% of them, love them, like them, thank you very much. But Cincinnati Children's Hospital is corporate health care at its best. It's how the Durrani debacle happened. I also want to point out something to you, and I think you'll find this interesting. By the way, pediatric cancer, number 1. You know what they did? After they send this out, they sent out an email. You know what they asked for? Money. Folks, this place makes $1 billion a year. Gross, $1 billion. Actually, I think it's like $2 or $3 billion. They net nearly $1 billion. It's hundreds of millions of dollars this place makes, this nonprofit makes. Don't give them any of your money. Don't waste your money giving money to Cincinnati Children's Hospital. They got all the money in the freaking world. Big slush fund for their board and their C-suite. See how they treat their, you know what they do? So sometimes they'll have like snow cone day and stuff like that for their employees. Oh my goodness, it gets me fired up. In Kentucky news, the Kentucky Supreme Court's going to hear the congressional redistricting challenge by the Democrats. Interesting story here. The mayor of London, who's supposed to be London, Kentucky, who's supposed to be a billionaire, donated $202,000 to the Democratic Party. They're going to return it. It was apparently on Randall Weddle's credit card. You know you're rich when you can charge $200,000 on a credit card. 146 dogs were found dead in a dog lover's home in Ohio. How you like that? And then in sports, the Cincinnati Reds keep on winning. They won the 10th game in a row last night. They play at 12:30 today. If I wasn't so busy, I'd go over to the game. I might be going on Friday. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Coming up next, Jamie Spinley and his World News.
Hello, this is Jamie Spinley with the latest world headlines in 60 seconds or less. A record 28 tons of illegally fished shark fins have been confiscated from 2 export companies in Brazil. That's around 11,000 blue sharks that were killed. The fins were destined for Asia, where shark fin soup is a delicacy. 4 Israelis have been shot dead in an attack near a settlement in the occupied West Bank. 4 others were wounded when 2 gunmen opened fire at a restaurant and a petrol station. A man in Sydney, Australia, has died at the central train station early this morning, causing many delays. He had fell onto the track from the platform on his mobility scooter. A rare strong earthquake hit parts of western France this morning, a 5.8 magnitude. No injuries were reported. And in sports, Portugal captain Cristiano Ronaldo became the first men's player to win 200 international caps in their Euro 2024 qualifying win over Iceland last night. He was given a Guinness World Record certificate for achievement. Congratulations, mate. Until tomorrow, cheerio.